Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive, industry-altering shift in how we actually generate our energy. We're looking at exactly how the nuclear energy sector is planning to ditch those highly customized, one-off blueprints and jump headfirst into the era of mass production and assembly lines. If you've ever found yourself wondering how we're going to practically scale up clean energy solutions without breaking the bank, well, you're in exactly the right place today. Because this transition, it's shaping up to be one of the absolute most significant engineering pivots of our generation.
Look, we've got to start by addressing the elephant in the room right up front. Why does nuclear power sometimes seem so ridiculously expensive? Seriously, it's the one question that dominates almost every single debate about the future of our grid. And the answer pretty much entirely comes down to those massive, sky-high upfront expenses. For decades now, just the sheer cost of getting a new project out of the ground has been a massive roadblock. But to really get why those costs are so astronomical, and more importantly, how the industry actually plans to fix it, we have to look at how these incredibly complex facilities have historically been built.
To really understand the price tag, we have to talk about a specific industry concept. It's called the first-of-a-kind, or FOAK, premium. Whenever developers build a totally brand new reactor design for the very first time, it carries this massive premium, mostly because we are literally just learning as we go. Think about it for a second. You aren't just paying for the concrete, the steel, and the labor. You are footing the bill for a massive learning curve. These initial projects are inherently more expensive because every single step, every tiny unexpected challenge is being tackled for the very first time by the crews on the ground.
So what does this first-of-a-kind premium actually look like out in the real world? Well, first off, these are bespoke, highly unique custom builds. And that basically guarantees a steep learning curve. You've got workers out there trying to figure out the absolute best way to assemble complex parts right there on the job site. And crucially, there is a total lack of established manufacturing protocols. When you're building a custom mega project, you don't have a standardized, time-tested manual to fall back on. Actually, scratch that. You are essentially writing the manual as you build, which, as you can imagine, takes a ton of time. And in large-scale construction, time literally equals money. That here is where the entire paradigm flips on its head. On one side, you have FOAK, all those bespoke projects and brutal learning curves we just talked about. But the whole future of the industry, that relies on nth-of-a-kind, or nth-of-a-kind production. Instead of every single project being this grand, unique endeavor, nth-of-a-kind leans heavily into standardized parts and factory fabrication. By the time you get to the nth version of a reactor build, you aren't trying to figure things out in the mud on a construction site anymore. You're churning out standard pieces in a highly controlled factory setting. It's the exact polar opposite of a custom build.
So how exactly do developers plan to make this massive leap from custom blueprints to factory floors? The answer is a crucial technological shift: small modular reactors, or SMRs. Now, you might already be familiar with SMRs, but they are the literal key that unlocks this streamlined assembly process. Because they're smaller and modular, you don't have to build them from scratch out in an empty field. Their entire design philosophy is built around taking full advantage of nth-of-a-kind manufacturing. They are basically the physical embodiment of the industry moving away from those giant bespoke megaprojects.
There is a quote floating around that just hits the nail on the head when it comes to this philosophy. It goes, "The goal of SMRs is to treat reactors like airplanes, build them in a factory one after another to make them cheaper and faster." It is such a brilliant analogy because it takes this highly abstract, complex nuclear concept and grounds it in something we all immediately get. Airplanes are incredibly complex, highly regulated machines, right? But we don't build Boeing 747s one by one in a random field. We build them on assembly lines. By treating SMRs like factory-built products, developers can finally unlock that exact same manufacturing magic.
To actually get there, though, requires a massive operational shift. The playbook is pretty straightforward, but absolutely crucial. Step 1, totally standardize the components. You have to lock in a design so every single part is identical. Once it's locked down, step 2 is moving construction completely out of the unpredictable weather and logistical nightmares of a remote site and bringing it indoors for controlled factory fabrication. And finally, step 3, streamline the assembly. By doing the exact same thing over and over again, that assembly line gets faster, smarter, and incredibly optimized with every single unit that rolls out the door. The direct financial payoff of finally beating that learning curve is honestly staggering. When you look at the cost of reactor number 1, you are seeing that heavy first-of-a-kind premium in full effect. It's high, and yeah, it is expensive. But as production scales up toward that nth-of-a-kind ideal, let's say by reactor number 10, the financial burden just plummets.
Because of all that repetition, the standardized parts, the factory fabrication, we aren't paying for the learning curve anymore. Instead, we're finally cashing in on the rewards of it.
We are talking about a potential cost reduction of 30 to 50%. Just wrap your head around that for a second. In the world of massive energy infrastructure, slashing the price tag by up to half is an absolute game changer. This isn't just about shaving a few pennies off the margins here. A percentage drop this massive really hammers home the real economic stakes of the shift. It's literally the difference between a technology being way too expensive to pursue and it becoming a highly competitive, foundational pillar of our entire energy grid.
Ultimately, the grand payoff of industrializing reactor construction boils down to two main things. They become wildly faster to deploy, and they become truly economically viable. When you're just assembling standardized factory-built modules, your construction timelines shrink drastically. And by shifting away from those custom blueprints over to assembly lines, developers fundamentally alter the basic math of nuclear energy. It turns it into a highly realistic, highly scalable solution for our future. Which leads me to a final, slightly provocative thought I want to leave you with today. If reactors can actually be built like airplanes, how incredibly fast could we transform our energy grid? If the industry successfully executes this pivot, if we master nth-of-a-kind production, completely wipe out that first-of-a-kind premium, and start rolling small modular reactors off assembly lines, the real-world impact on our access to affordable, reliable, clean energy could happen a whole lot faster than we ever imagined. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you all next time.